Well, good morning. This is Scott Gombar of scottgumbar.com, digital marketer, starting the Become a Social Business Blabcast podcast, whatever you want to call it. Today's topic is Facebook pissing you off? So I've gotten some interest for this blab, so I'm hoping some people join me. I see there's 5 people that subscribe. I've gotten some posts on Instagram as well that people had, and Twitter, that people had some questions and comments and so forth about Facebook. The idea behind this blab is that Facebook does seem to be pissing off some business owners because their business page reach has diminished little by little by little by little. And I believe even today there is, or this week maybe, there's an update to the algorithm again. I know there's some changes to Facebook this week. But more to the personal pages. So, there's been changes to Note. There's been changes to 5 or 6 different things on the personal page. You can now have an animated GIF as an image, or a video, maybe it was a video, a looping video, things like that. So anyway, the focus of this one is Facebook business page primarily, and how you can market on Facebook despite the fact that your page reach has declined. Good morning, Rose. Thank you for joining. Hi. So, Rose, if you'd like to jump in, I wasn't able to find a co-host. So, if you'd like to jump in, if you would like to talk about Facebook page reach and Facebook for business, period, I'd love to. But you're currently unable to. That's cool. Anyway, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. So, Facebook page reach, and everybody's correct, being up in arms. If you take my page as the example, the typical post reaches probably somewhere between 5 and 10% of my followers, my audience. So I found some ways that work without spending any money. And then there's also the Facebook page post boost, which is pretty affordable. You know, you can spend $5 at a time, and share your post that way. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to reach your followers. You can set it that way to only reach the followers or fans of your page, and as well as their friends, which is usually what I do. And I spend $5 and it gets quite the reach. So Rose is asking, when you are starting to advertise for a handful of clients on Facebook, do you have to be an admin on each page to place ads? And yes, you do. You can set up the billing so that it comes out of the client's billing rather than your own, which is what I do, because I'm sure you're aware that collecting those payments isn't the easiest process in the world sometimes. So I set up their billing, which is just good practice anyway, so that the Facebook piece is billed automatically to them, but you have to be an admin to place the ads, or you have to have access to their account. So being the admin is probably the better way to go about that, because having access to everybody's accounts. Although I will tell you, clients always want to give me access to their accounts, and it boggles my mind sometimes that clients are so willing to give up their passwords for information. You can do the billing through you. Again, I'll tell you what, I had one client that was probably spending hundreds, if not thousands of dollars a month on billing, and that's one of the reasons I didn't want to do that. You can set it up through you and then bill them for it, invoice them for it, but you take the chance that you run another example. I had an ad running and I completely forgot it was running until Facebook billed me for it this month. I didn't mean for it to continually run. It's been running since July. I did not mean to do that. I meant to give it a cutoff. As long as you're keeping an eye on the ads and you're controlling the budget then that's fine, I guess, right? It's really up to the person at the end of the day. If you want to bill them, if you're going to send them an invoice at the end of the month for the ad spend plus the um, your fee for managing it, right? So up to you. I just prefer that the customer pay for it out of their own credit card. This way, there's also some transparency there as well, so they don't think you're overcharging them for ads. But yeah, you could do it either way, Rose. There's some generic ways, organic ways to increase your Facebook page reach as well, though. I'm surprised I haven't gotten more people in here. I've gotten quite a bit of interest, so I'm really surprised. Um, anyway, there is some organic ways to increase your page reach. One of those is to share to your personal profile and encourage other people to share their personal profile. And I do this often, and it really helps page reach. So that's an option. In some of my posts, and it really depends on the post, and I'll use one. I have another show on Friday mornings at 10. A little bit different than this. It's Growth Success Radio. We talk to business owners about how they achieve growth in their business and failures and so forth. That's Fridays at 10, and I have a co-host every week. But there was the first show that we brought to Blab, so we're on our 7th episode this week. We've done now, I think, 3 episodes on Blab. So this will be our 4th episode on Blab this week. And the first episode, I created the post, and our guest was also on Facebook. So he was able to share it. My co-host shared it. So there were 2 shares. And from that, it generated an extremely high rate of engagement, more than what my page alone can handle. So 2 shares accomplished what a Facebook page post boost would accomplish, in that I reached probably over 1,000. I think it was maybe I think it was around 700. And a post boost will typically, for $5, will typically about get the same reach and engagement that 2 shares also got. So if you're encouraging your I don't want to say friends, because some of my friends, I don't really, it's a different world, but maybe some of your business peers, other business owners, other social media people, even, to share that content, you will get the engagement probably more so than you would with a post boost. Now, post boost is not the same. Well, it is part of the Facebook ads system, but there's different ways to share or advertise a post on Facebook. So there's Rose, I'm wondering if you use the Power Editor at all. I use Power Editor for most ads except for post boosts. So when I create an actual ad, the Power Editor gives you a little more flexibility in how you format that ad, and that also will help with the engagement of the post. Your cost per click of your ad comes down, just like Google, depending on the content of the post. Oh, yeah, Instagram advertising. I will probably do another show on that one later on. That's really just gotten started. And I do see some social media people already posting ads on Instagram, so it's interesting. But that's really just getting started. I haven't really delved too much into it yet. I'm actually speaking about Instagram next week in Stamford, Connecticut. But you have to let me know how that goes. But yeah, the Power Editor is great because it gives you the ability to control how the content looks more than the native Facebook advertising system. And so that proves to be helpful with reducing your cost per click, among other things. Obviously, you're going to want to target specific audiences. And the Power Editor, if I'm not mistaken, gives you more access to different data sets. So not just Facebook's data set, but also a few other third-party data sets. So you can really get specific on who you're trying to reach, and that'll drive your cost per click down. Kind of similar to what Google does, in that the more relevant your keywords are, the more relevant your text is, the more relevant the website it points to, the lower your cost per click is, because it raises your quality score. Sorry, it's been a crazy morning, so that's breakfast. I do have some videos on YouTube for the Power Editor, Rose, if that helps. It's YouTube/Scott Gombar. They are a little bit dated. I don't know that I've created one since they've mostly updated the look and feel of it. So most of the features are still the same. But there are some videos on my YouTube channel for that. What else can I tell you? So page reach is down. We all know that. Sharing to your personal profile is one way to fight that. Post boost is another way. I talked to someone last week. All he does is he puts all his business stuff on his personal page. Now, there's good and bad in that. The bad is you have no way of tracking the success of that. There's no insights. There's nothing. Facebook doesn't offer any of that for personal profiles. The good is you're more likely to reach more people depending on the business. So it's a moving company, and so it's business to consumer, and that, or I mean, it could be both, but his is primarily business to consumer. So he's able to reach more of his intended audience. So that works for him. It may not work for everybody. It probably won't work for everybody. Something I've learned over the last couple of years is that you never know who knows who. And I learned that again twice this week when one actually he's supposed to be on here, talked to me about his marketing budget for his job. He's a sales rep, and now he's in control of the marketing piece. And he has a marketing budget for one of his clients of $70,000 per quarter. I didn't know that, and I've known him for years. Another case is somebody who knows a potential client, a restaurant owner that owns, I think it's 12 restaurants here in Connecticut. He knows the owner, and I've been trying to reach this guy for a while because his website is a disaster and he needs some marketing help. So you never know who knows who. You never know where somebody is in their life that they may need help. So that goes back to sharing to your personal profile on Facebook. You just never know who knows who. So it works for the moving company. He posts on his personal profile, doesn't even have a Facebook page. He was supposed to call me this week to set up an appointment. He hasn't done that yet, but I'm sure he will. Good morning, Dwayne. I just saw you come in. Rose works for a digital marketing agency. Can you yes, Blab is awesome, Rose. I would tell you, my Twitter following alone kind of stalled. It's been at like 20,700 forever now, and it just hasn't really grown from there, which is not a big deal because it's not really the amount of followers. It's more of the quality of the followers, the quality of your audience. But suddenly I've noticed it started to creep up again since I've been on Blab, and I've been on Blab for I think 4 weeks or something now. Blab is awesome, and I'm encouraging clients to come on Blab. Somehow every time I do this conversation turns to Blab. But Blab is awesome. I'm hoping, and I know they are going to incorporate it into a few other things. They're going to add it so that you can embed the Blab sessions right in your website. They haven't said yes or no to linking with Facebook yet. I don't know what the story with that is, but I have not heard anything one way or the other. So we'll wait to see on that. But they're definitely open to allowing people to join in multiple ways. Dwayne, if you'd like to jump in and ask a question, feel free. Or if you want to type a question in the chat, it's /Q and then your question. So yeah, Blab is definitely on the rise, and I tell people all the time, people complain about, oh, Blab doesn't do this, Blab doesn't do that, and Blab this, Blab that. But if you notice on the top left of your screen, it says beta. So everybody's got to keep that in mind before you start complaining about what Blab can and can't do. It's a great tool, and I agree with you, Rose. It's an incredible opportunity for business owners CEOs, and I'm trying to get some more powerful CEOs on here, because if a CEO of a large company comes on and talks about their company with a little bit of transparency, I think that'll go a long way towards that company's growth. You know, and then when I'm done with these, I record them. This is on the record now. I post the video to YouTube, and then I also I submit the audio to iTunes, and I haven't been approved yet, but also Stitcher when that gets approved. So there's a lot of potential for reach, and then also the replays on here. So that alone is a way for you to remarket your content. It's, to some degree, it's evergreen content. You know, some of the stuff, you know, what I'm talking about Facebook right now could change tomorrow. So did either of you see the updates on the personal profiles for Facebook? There's some updates coming out. And I saw it yesterday, but I lost it. So let me see if I can find it again. But it was some interesting stuff. Now, again, I wouldn't normally encourage a business to share via the personal profile, but it seems to be working for some, and it also seems to improve the reach for some. But there's no way to verify that because you have no way to know what your stats really look like. There's no insights for your personal page. Now, you can use your Google Analytics and see where the content is coming from, or the traffic is coming from to your site. However, again, I don't know that that's the best way to do things. You're not going to see the engagement. You're not going to see you're going to miss out on a lot of information that Facebook would provide you. So that's just some thought on that. Using your personal profile as your business page, not the best idea. But again, if you're sharing from your business if that works. And if you're encouraging other business pages to share, that's even better. Something else I do with my business page is I will like other business pages from my business page. Kind of gives a sense of business community. So most of the businesses I like are local to me. A few larger businesses, I also like other social media people, other digital marketers. And then you share their content. Again, given that sense of community. And there's a lot of people in business, including myself, that believe in order to get, you have to give. So I'm in BNI. BNI motto is givers gain. You'll hear people all the time say, we do business with people we know, like, and trust. All of those things are accomplished by you liking other business pages from your Facebook business page, and then sharing some of their content. And careful with posting to other businesses. Some don't like that. Some don't mind. They can always block it, but then that kind of puts a little damper in the relationship. So you want to be careful with that. What else can I tell you? I cannot find that post I saw about the changes coming to Facebook. Good morning, Mike. I cannot find that. I apologize. Obviously, hashtags work on Facebook. You know, it's interesting. I saw something just recently, and I think it actually came from Twitter, believe it or not, that said that hashtags don't have the reach they used to have. So that was interesting because that's where they started was Twitter. Now, I'm not so sure that's the truth. I think what happens with hashtags is some people get carried away with them. So if you look at the title of my blab, for example, and by the way, if you're titling your blab, I would encourage the use of hashtags. So I've got become a social business is hashtag, and then is Facebook pissing you off, and Facebook is hashtag. So I encourage businesses to hashtag as part of the title, as part of the conversation. Don't write your title or your tweet and then put a bunch of hashtags, long worded hashtags, by the way, that are hard to read. Make it part of the conversation, and that usually does pretty well for me. Like I said, this did generate a lot of interest. Mike, I'm not following Fallon and Timberlake. Oh, the video with the hashtag video. Yes, I do recall that now. Okay. Yeah, that was awesome. And getting off topic a little bit, but yeah, that is an awesome video. So is the what is it? The history of dance. I think there's one of dance and one of hip hop as well. Those are all awesome videos. Um, Somebody sent me that video, the hashtag video, because we used to mess with me and a friend of mine used to mess with people using hashtags on Facebook, just pulling people's legs. So they posted that video on my Facebook page, on my Facebook timeline. Um, but yeah, so I think even though the Fallon and Timberlake video is funny, I think it makes a valid point in that some people just get carried away with hashtags. I've seen hashtags that are 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 words long, and it makes it hard to read. If you have 20 words, although I will tell you on Instagram that works, but if you have 20 words with hashtags that are irrelevant, you might not be drawing the right people, the right audience. Just make it part of the conversation. All right. And the same thing goes for Facebook. Make it part of the conversation. As long as it's relevant, as long as it's part of the conversation, as long as most people can read it without needing a translator, then it should be okay. So make sure you're using hashtags. Video content is huge on Facebook. My only problem with video is it's not as well organized as it is on YouTube. But video content on Facebook is huge. Post directly to your Facebook page. Yeah, Rose, get in there. Believe me. From my own testing, I'm not pulling stats from anywhere else. My own testing shows that my videos get about 10 times the reach of anything else. And on my videos, occasionally, of course, so here's the funny thing. You can't post a blab to Facebook. You can't post a video to Facebook, period, Facebook page, if it's more than 45 minutes. So most of my blabs are more than 45 minutes. So that doesn't happen. But if your video is less than 45 minutes, you can share it to Facebook, your Facebook page. Yes, you can chop them up in YouTube. Well, I didn't know you could do that in YouTube. I use, I'm drawing a blank. Hold on. It's not Snagit. There's another one that the same company makes. Anyway, so I use that to cut them up. I just haven't had a chance to do the blabs yet. I've had time to, it's funny, they tell you, if you're in business, whatever it is you're in business for, you probably aren't going to be the best at it for yourself. I used to be in IT, and my computers were probably the worst. Camtasia. I used to be the worst at fixing my own computers, getting them ready. What is the audience it reaches on Facebook? Just your friends on Facebook? All right, so that's tricky. So here's the thing. If you have a Facebook page, my Facebook page, I think, has 190 maybe followers. And what happens is if you post to your Facebook page, ideally it should reach your entire audience on the Facebook page, and that was the original setup, but it doesn't anymore. You're lucky if it gets 5 to 10% of that now. However, if you post a video, you will more than likely reach 10 times, from my own numbers, about 10 times the reach of normal. So you'll reach more of your Facebook audience, your page audience, but it will also show to some of their friends. I'm not sure what you mean by how does that happen. But the targeting is part of the ad system. So let's say you upload a video, you can then boost it, and you could target who you want it to reach. So you could target by job titles, by income levels, by location, by are they friends with your followers, their home ownership, where they work sometimes, depending on the company. There's a lot of ways to target their job category, their interests, where they are in life, single, married, divorced. These are all ways you can target. You can target right down to the zip code, but you have to do it through the ad system. No, not through the ad system, Mike. I'm sorry. His question is, So in some way they have to have some connection to you. Not if you're using ads. Ads you can target anybody. I could target in Connecticut. I could target people in California if I wanted to. I can target, and I have targeted people, not for myself, for other clients. I've targeted people in Florida. I've targeted people in specific counties in Connecticut. Yes, the ads do cost. However, as I mentioned earlier, if you are, there's a few ways to keep the ad costs down. Number one, post boosts are usually less expensive than ads. However, you also have less control. Another way to keep ad costs down, I'm not familiar with AdWorks. Are you saying AdWords or AdWorks? Another way to keep ad costs down, as I was just mentioning to Rose, is using um, the Power Editor, making sure you're targeting those specific audiences, making sure your ad content is relevant. And if people are generally liking your ad and commenting on your ad and sharing your ad, then that will also bring your cost per click down, so you spend less money. You have complete control over your budget. So you can set a budget ahead of time, and then, let's say you want to spend $10 a day. You can control that. You say, I only want to spend $10 a day. I only want to run it for a week, whatever the case may be. I'm not familiar with AdWorks and couldn't comment on them. I'll check that out later, and maybe we can talk about that later, but not familiar with them, so I couldn't comment. Do they do just Facebook ads, or they also do Google? Okay, so Rose says they're for real estate. So again, I have worked with some real estate investors, and Mike says that's right. So I will tell you this about niche marketing agencies. The thing to be careful with on these is, and I'll give you another example. I've run into this twice now in the last few weeks. One is a chiropractor who went to a marketing agency that only worked with chiropractors. The problem with that is, they're going to do your blog post for you, they're going to do your SEO for you, they're going to do this, they're going to do that. And the problem is they do the exact same thing for 50 chiropractors. It's not going to help you. It has to be your personal touch on that, on your campaign. Right, you have to be unique, exactly, Rose. It has to be your voice. And I ran into this, and it seems to happen even more often with lawyers. Somebody asked me to take a look at another lawyer's website. He's also a lawyer, because he's thinking about buying the law firm. And same thing. This guy was using a firm that only worked with attorneys, a very specific subset of attorneys, and the content was being marketed on multiple sites, the same exact blog post. So if your blog post is on multiple sites, same content and everything, Google doesn't care. It's not going to count it for yours. You're not going to get ranked because of it for that blog post. It's not going to help you at all. If they're marketing through social media channels, are they really putting in the effort to make your law firm or your chiropractic firm stand out? No, they're not. So you're not going to get any traction. As a matter of fact, the chiropractor website was built as a subdomain of this firm, so that's going to hurt you even more. So I would tend to stay away from anybody who specializes in one niche. So I'll tell you what I do. If I have a lawyer as a client, which I do, that's the only lawyer for that what their practice does that I'm going to work with in the area. So I might have one in Connecticut. I might have one in, I don't know, Texas. But for this area, she's the only one I work with in her, you're not allowed to say specialty with an attorney, in her focus. Mike says he's new to the whole video market. Believe it or not, a lot of people are. So I'll tell you, one of the easiest ways to do video is through Blab. As you can see, Blab records video. Now, I would love to have one of you guys in the other seat here, but Blab does video. It records it, and then you upload it. So I upload it to YouTube. I have not uploaded them to Facebook yet because, again, most of them go more than 45 minutes. I do plan on cutting them up. By the way, that software I use is Camtasia. Pretty affordable. I think it was $300, and it's really easy to use. So you can upload those to Facebook as long as they're under 45 minutes. Camtasia. It's by TechSmith. I'll type it in the chat. I'm still recovering from bronchitis. Sorry, guys. So video marketing, because of things like Blab, because of Periscope, and I'm sure there's more on the rise, but it makes it so much easier because people like to see these conversations, these interactions. You can then Blab sends you, when you're done, it sends you the audio and the video. So then you can also upload the audio as a podcast. I do a little bit of editing, not really a whole lot on the audio part. I think people really like to hear the raw podcast. Now, there are some podcasters that will disagree with me for sure, and that's fine. Everybody has their own way of doing things, so they really edit it down. However, I like the raw file, and so far my other pod, this is new. This is only my second show for this one, but the other one is getting some really good traction with the raw file. No problem, Mike. Mike and Rose, if you ever do need to reach out to me on Twitter at /Scott Gombar, you know, we could all follow each other. I don't know if I'm following either one of you yet, but I'll find out right now. I was trying to get a Facebook expert on, another Facebook expert. I am actually, if you Google Connecticut Facebook expert, I think I'm number 2 right now on Google. So I follow both of you. If you ever have any questions, I am on Blab regularly on Thursday mornings at 10 and Friday mornings at 10, and I also pop in. One thing that will help you with Blab is popping in to that other seat. So you join other Blabs. I don't know if either one of you has done that yet. Join the Blab, especially if it's something you know something about, or if you just have a question. So yesterday, awesome person was on BlogAid. They're on every Wednesday. I don't remember the time, but they're on every Wednesday. That's okay, Mike. I was new and I joined I'll tell you a really good story about how I found out about that. And I'm usually really on top of these things. But one of my clients, I was working out of the office. I was in between a B&I and a speaking engagement about a half hour from my office. I said, you know, I'm just going to drop into FedEx office and do some work from here. So I was doing that, and she sent me a text to say, hey, can you blab for a minute? And I'm thinking she just wants to have a conversation about something. Sure, why not? She said, all right. And then she sends me a link. And then I click on the link, and I'm on my phone, by the way, because it was in text. And it opens up this blab, what I'm on now, in Google Chrome on my phone. So it'll work. If you have an Android, it'll work in Chrome. If you have an iPhone, they have an app. So next thing I know, I'm on this video chat from my phone in my car. I wasn't driving, so don't worry. Didn't know what it was, but I was live on Blab for the first time. And I think I've been on here probably close to a month, 4 weeks a month. And that's how I found out about Blab. So I was live on Blab, never even heard of it, jumped on, and just, it was short. I think it was 5 or 10 minutes. But, and she was testing out. She was pretty new to it as well. Since then, I've recorded, I don't know, well, I told you the other show will have its 4th episode. This is my 2nd episode of this one. So 6 there. And I've been on probably another half dozen at least, probably more. But the best way to get more followers is to join other people's blabs. Most people that are blabbing are more than welcome, more than willing to have people jump in the other seat. There's up to 4 seats. If they don't, they usually lock the seat. Like you'll see tomorrow, if the 4th seat is open, which it should be, it'll be locked because it's an interview. And if we have time at the end, then I allow somebody to jump in and ask questions. But most of the blabs on here will allow you to come on the open seat, ask questions, join the conversation. I joined BlogAid yesterday, so if you're not familiar with BlogAid, you'll want to check that out. She's really helpful with helping people develop their WordPress skills. It's blogaid.net. I jumped on her blog for a while yesterday, on her blab yesterday for a while, and developed that relationship. And we hadn't talked before, but now we talk. And, it was a good experience. If you run into, by the way, the CEO and COO of Blab do town halls, and they pop into Blabs all the time. They monitor Blabs. There's a Blab team that also monitors blabs to make sure that nothing fishy's going on, no trolls or anything like that. Any troublemakers. I know of one person that's been banned already because he was out there. Let's just say that. But it's a really great community, and they did a town hall last week. I think it was Thursday night that I was in it, and I didn't get to talk. But I actually, Rose, are you familiar with Mari Smith? She was on here a couple weeks ago, and I had the chance to talk to her, but my mic wasn't working, so I didn't get the chance to ask the question. Mari Smith is the queen of Facebook. She was hired by Facebook, and she's like the Facebook guru, I guess you could say. I don't know if she likes that word guru, but she's an awesome person. Yeah, there you go. You do know. So she was on here a couple weeks ago, and she talked to a lot of people. So that's the power of Blab, in my opinion. If we can get, yeah, I think it was a Monday morning. I think. I'm not 100% sure. It wasn't my Blab. I'd love to have her on. It would have been awesome to have her on this Blab. But she is awesome. You're right. So, I don't know, Rose, if you don't have any other questions, that's pretty much all I've got on Facebook for now. I was really hoping to have a conversation with some people, so I'll just go through the tips again. Share your post to your personal profile. Definitely use the post boost. Just to give you an example, a post I posted on, I think it was Monday, probably Monday or Tuesday. One share, and the post reach was probably about 10 times normal reach, judging by the post around the same time. Videos, as we talked about, get about 10 times the normal reach. No problem, those soon, right? If you're working for a digital marketing agency, tell them you need to jump on Blabs because it'll help grow that brand. Branding, I'm a big believer in personal brand. I don't know the name of your agency, but let's just use your name. If it was Rose Browning, if it was your JMC Brands, now is the owner of those his initials? Because if it is, that's no. Okay. Well, just the name. So I named my agency after me. Originally, it was called something else, and then I changed it after I read a book, great book, on The Brand Called You. So if you have a chance to read that, read it. And then I changed the name of the agency to my name, Scott Gombar. So I have a few web designers working for me. I have a videographer working for me. I have a LinkedIn specialist working for me. But the agency name is my own name. And a lot of those guys have other stuff going on outside. So they do some of their stuff on their own. Like the videographer, he has his own business doing it as well, and the name of his business is his name. If you think about it, companies like what's the one I always reference? Now I'm trying to blank. Big financial advisor, Charles Schwab, right? Everybody knows who Warren Buffett is, but do you know the name of his company? Things like that. That's why I'm a big believer in naming companies after your name, and I'm also a big believer in the name, the face of the company being out there, and that's what I was kind of alluding to before. The CEO. Let's say you got the CEO of Coca-Cola on a Blab or just on something to make them a little more transparent. And this is why I started this series, Become a Social Business. I think that if more executives were a little more transparent using social media, and again, Blab is an awesome tool to do that, I think you would find that those companies would grow organically, especially the bigger ones, because people don't want to work with these big, large corporations anymore. They don't want to buy from them. I personally would rather go to the mom or pop shop down the street than I would to Walmart or Target. I probably shouldn't say that. I'm working with some people from Target, but because of the personal attention, because I believe in building up the local economy, and I think it's important to name businesses, whether it's, if I named it Gombar Marketing, Scott Gombar Marketing, something, Scott's Marketing, whatever, or if you named it Rose's Marketing or the attorney I'm working with, she has a name for the firm, but more people know the firm by her name. And as a matter of fact, she gets more traffic to her site by searching her name than she does by the law firm's name. So that's just some examples of, I'm not even sure why I started talking about that, but so the Facebook page is named after me. All of my social media is named after me, and it's great. I think it works. I think people like to get to know the personality of the person, and then I think that's where I was going. So blab is the same thing. Get on there and blab about your company. Tell us about your company without sounding like a sales pitch. Tell us what you're an expert on. Come on and give advice to other people. That's what I do all the time, is I'm giving advice to people, and it's free. I don't charge for advice. Maybe I should, right? I don't charge for advice, and it has its own rewards. The one I was telling you about that had the $70,000 budget per quarter. I've known him for a long time, and I've given him advice. I've given him advice on IT. I've given him advice on marketing. I just talked to him a few days ago about marketing. I think I have a better chance of landing them as a client now because of it. So you're going to get all different views on marketing. If you're like me, you'll probably take what you think works and leave the rest out. But Facebook has its challenges, but if it's done right, then it has its rewards. Encourage sharing of content, encourage engagement by asking questions and thoughts. Images don't work the way they used to. They've dropped way off on the Facebook engagement ecosystem. Videos, though, are the way to go for sure. They do need to organize them better. That's the only thing I don't like about Facebook videos. Well, Rose, if you don't have any other questions, we had Mark come in and leave. Until next time, I'm going to end this session because I do. Thanks, Rose, for coming in. So next week's topic will be, let me take a look because I don't remember. I had a couple lined up. Next week is, this one should generate some interest, actually. Next week's topic will be iPhone versus Android, so that'll be fun. Get some blood boiling. I am definitely team Android, so I hope to see some team iPhone people on. See if anybody gets a little heated about that. And then the following week is the accessibility of CEOs. So we were just kind of talking about that. The accessibilities of CEOs and executives. The tomorrow morning at 10, I have Michael Lopresti of New England Financial Group on Growth Success Radio. We'll talk about, oh boy, for some reason it's not showing up on my schedule here, but we'll talk about the financials and recruiting and training of businesses. So that'll be fun. That's tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. on Growth. If you go to growthsuccessradio.com, you'll get all the information there. And then the following week, we actually have a nonprofit on, so that'll be fun. We'll get to talk to the nonprofit about the challenges of running a nonprofit, and something that's a little near and dear to my heart at the moment is Google Grants. So until next week, everybody, becoming a social business, signing off.